You're listening to Behind the Wheel on RacingJunk.com. You've read the stories of the drivers and others involved in the sport that we all love. Now hear their stories firsthand via our all-new podcast to find out how their passion for motorsports has made life worth living.
Do you like your new microphone?
I can't decide.
I got to tell you,
it's weird.
It's half the size of your face.
It is. I think it's most of the size of my face.
I mean, but here at Behind the Wheel on RacingJunk.com, we strive to improve equipment.
Is this your improvement?
Okay, so for those that can't see, which is everybody, and don't know, what I did was I went and I got a windscreen for Ellen's microphone, but the only thing I could find was a piece of pipe foam.
It's what it looks like, a piece of foam.
Which,
it's a giant piece of foam.
If you've ever seen pipe insulation foam, imagine putting a 3-foot afro on top of your head.
That's what it looks like. It's an afro on the microphone.
That's what I've done to Ellen's microphone. But
I feel like I have an afro in my face.
But look at how beautiful you sound.
I don't think I sound beautiful, but okay.
Look at that. Look how beautiful that smells.
It smells.
Welcome back to Behind the Wheel on RacingJunk.com. Our recent guests, Jim and Mike Ring, the Ring brothers.
I still want that VW.
Yes.
And the RV.
I want the RV. I want the RV for sure.
I actually had to show that to a friend of mine recently. She wants to restore an RV, and I was like, you need to just go get this one.
Let me tell you, that thing is so beautiful. And I stopped following them on social media.
Why?
Well, but then I came back because it's like an addiction.
Oh, yeah.
They have these gorgeous vehicles that they've refurbished and rebuilt, and they put out there on Instagram, and you just take a look at them and you go, what the?
And I wish I could afford all of them.
Before we came on, we were talking about the Manning brothers.
Yeah, we have to talk football every show. Sorry,
and
guys.
Peyton Manning's ginormous head. I don't know if his head would fit in some of those custom mods.
Oh, probably not.
No.
It'd stick out the top. They'd have to have a
You'd have to have like a bubble, like a little satellite dome or something. Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
With that giant
They can create
head.
it, though. Jim and Mike Ringer are some talented guys. They definitely can create a little bubble head.
Yeah, and we want to thank you guys, Jim and Mike. Thank you guys so much for joining us last time. You guys do make some of the coolest rides we have ever seen. Congratulations on your SEMA win. Well deserved. I know it's not the only one. I can't believe you are a Packers fan and a Patriots fan. I wasn't going to bring that up, Ellen. But now it's eating me up.
I was a Chicago fan when I was 5, but, that's when they were actually good.
She comes in here, and we're talking about Danica Patrick, and she goes, well, she's dating Aaron Rodgers. I'm like, no, she's dating
dating Aaron Rodgers for over a year, man. How'd you miss this?
I don't pay attention to Aaron Rodgers or Danica Patrick, which is why. But on top of that, she turns around and goes, but yeah, and I'm a Green Bay fan. That's why I hated why they did so bad this year.
Because they got the Danica curse. Sorry for all you Danica fans out there.
And I lost
She's a curse.
I lost it. I am offended and appalled. And I feel like my soul has been stabbed with a hot poker.
You're just mad because Green Bay's better than Chicago and they're in the same.
Who isn't better? I think Tampa Bay.
Not better than Chicago.
Tampa Bay and Cincinnati are probably the only two teams that are
Cleveland.
worse than it. We're coming back. But speaking of on the comeback, our guest today, Jeb Burton.
Yeah, we're back. We're actually going to go back to racing. Yes, we know we spend a lot of time on the automotive side, but
yeah.
I mean, everybody that's a motorsports fan, I can't talk today, y'all. Anybody who's a motorsports fan is also an automotive fan, right? I mean, they are cars.
I mean, so we talk a lot about, off track. We talk a lot about, some of the folks. We've had some fantastic guests that you've brought up to the table that are doing phenomenal things out there outside of racing. Mm-hmm. They're motivational. We've had Valerie Thompson. We've had some phenomenal bike, dirt, phenomenal racers. Every now and then, we got to give a little tip of the hat to the stock cars.
Yes, we do, and we've left NASCAR out a lot, so it's time to go back to that.
It's time to dip our toe back in the water.
It is. And actually, we're not only talking to a Burton, who, the Burton name has been known in NASCAR for several years, but we're also talking to a family member of Chris's. So
That's
I'm
right.
hoping to find out some hidden secrets about Chris.
No, you won't. Mainly because of the gag order for most of the population of South Boston. They, because of that missing El Camino incident back in '92, they can't really
talk about you.
From what I understand, ongoing investigation is the only term that keeps being thrown around. And I keep telling them, if you let me tell my side of the story, let me back in South Boston, maybe we could clear this up. But nope.
Why would they? The El Camino's probably sitting in a junkyard by now.
They just want to talk about the moonshine and the El Camino, and I'm like, look, when in Rome, that's all I'm going to say. Okay. But no, I am excited. I got a chance to connect up with Jeb again while we were down in Daytona. And I said, hey, man, we got to have you on the podcast. Would love to talk to you about, what you've learned. We're going to get Ward at some time too, but he's so busy right now. I think he's busier now than he was when he was in NASCAR. And Jeb is extremely busy. He's got so much stuff going on. I was like, I was blown away by the calendar that he sent me. And he was like, hey, man, can we do this time? Can we do this time? Can we do this time? Because he's just got so much going on. And I don't think we think about the schedule that the drivers have and how hard it is in NASCAR.
Especially these days,
Yeah, just to drive.
Yeah, it's a wonder with the way they have to find their sponsors these days and that kind of thing, that they even have time to drive.
And you know what? Jeb doesn't have any pressure on him. He's only racing for Junior Motorsports, driving the junior car.
Exactly.
So it's like, oh, crap. I was like, dude, what? He goes, yeah, no pressure, right? And I'm like,
Yeah, especially at Daytona.
Yeah, it's like, I'm going to be pulling for you there, bruh.
And I'm excited that he's going to tell us a little bit about not only, where the state of NASCAR is and his role in the state of NASCAR, but also we're going to dive into a little bit of the safety issues. We know everybody's had that on their mind. I mean, writing a little bit about what happened to Ryan Newman in Daytona. And although it was sort of a shock, I didn't see it as a complete shock as far as the wreck itself. I really can't talk.
It's because of that new microphone. Look at it.
It's like talking to an afro. It's
look at it.
Don't want to look at it. Anybody who's watched the Daytona 500 at least the last 7 or 8 years, that kind of wreck happens almost every year.
Yeah, all the time.
And it was no shock to me to know that kind of wreck happened. But it was a fearful thing to see, not knowing, and not only see the curtains come up similar to what we saw with Dale Earnhardt. Yeah. And the not knowing for several days. Several hours. We did get to know something, the fact that he was breathing and alive within a few hours, but not knowing and being left there to wonder, and that is a scary thing. So I'm excited that we're going to get to talk to Jeb a little bit about how that all went down, some of the safety issues, and how Ryan was able to walk away.
Yeah, somebody who's in those vehicles. And Jeb's raced at all the levels, so he knows what the safety features are on those vehicles. He knows what happens when you get in those races. He's been in. He wrecked Saturday. Yeah. So, just having the insider's perspective, because when I see it, I saw it as a fan.
Exactly.
I was like, oh, dear God.
We all did, yeah.
Yeah, it was like, what, is he okay? And then you find out a couple days later, he walked out of the hospital with his kids.
Yeah.
That was amazing. So what they've done over the years to make sure that happens, I really want to get a driver's perspective on what's that like.
Yeah.
So I'll be glad to have my buddy Jeb on. Plus, he's got a lot of stuff going on with outdoors, hunting and fishing, and he's got his own thing going there. He's even got his wife involved in it. I understand he may even have
daddy.
Yeah, that's right, and his daddy.
Sorry, I'm a big fan of his daddies.
I'm a big fan of Ward too.
Well, you grew up with him. I didn't get to.
I mean,
I didn't get to hear him talk all the time.
I mean,
except when I saw him on TV, and I thought it was funny.
You just got to go to any area in South Boston, and you're gonna get that delicious accent. I mean, it's just one of the best things on the planet when you think about it. When you hear it, you just want to go back. You just want a plate of good old ribs, beans, and cornbread, and Fried catfish. Come on now. Oh, you got me thinking. Oh. All right, so I'm going to go get me a plate from the Dario. The Dairy Dale over there in Riverdale.
All right, trying to sound like one.
Ooh, see now.
How did you not get the accent?
Now I want either a parfait from the Dairy Dale or I want some pizza from Ziggy's. That's what I'm wanting right about now. Oh man. Okay. All right. So we're gonna take a break.
Talking rice and not food.
Yes. Sorry. So we're gonna take a break. When we come back, my buddy Jeb Burton will be joining us right here on Behind the Wheel on RacingJunk.com. Hang on.
Attention racers, race fans, and gearheads. If you're looking to buy, sell, or trade the stuff that stokes your engine, then check out RacingJunk.com. RacingJunk.com is the world's #1 online racing and performance classifieds, where you'll find what you need to rock your ride. Check us out at RacingJunk.com. Racing and performance classifieds built to go fast.
So welcome back to Behind the Wheel on RacingJunk.com. I got my Blue Comet brethren.
Blue Comet, brother.
Blue Comet. Well, yeah, you know, when you go to Halifax County High School, they're the Blue Comets, or as I call them when I was there, the Blue Vomits. You know, Jed's a little bit younger than me, maybe by just a couple years.
Oh yeah, okay.
But family member, hometown member, Jeb Burton. Jeb, welcome to the podcast, man.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me on here.
Absolutely. Now, I got a chance to run into you at Daytona, but I didn't get a chance to talk to you after Saturday. So why don't you tell me a little bit about how Saturday went?
Yeah. So Saturday started off really well. We qualified fourth, and we won the first stage of the race, so that was really exciting. Then the second stage, we finished third and led a bunch of laps. And in the last stage, we led a lot of laps and was sitting right there in the catbird seat to probably win the race. And with 5 laps to go, I got turned going down the back straightaway and got caught up in a wreck. So it really was heartbreaking because we had a perfect race going on and just got bump draft the wrong way and just sent me and caused a big wreck. So it definitely wasn't what we wanted, especially with LS tractors being on the car. So, that was frustrating, but it was still all in all a good day for us. Just some things you can control and some things you can't. And, that was one of the things that happens at Speedway race.
Now, obviously, I was down in the red premium with the RV in the pits, and I was pulling out. You were still leading. As a matter of fact, when I left, I saw your wife, and I could tell she was a little stressed out.
They always are.
When so A, is she okay? And then B, what smug some of my bitch spun you out?
It just, for Brandy's side of things, she was just worried about, my safety and if I was okay. And then, it just, like I said, the bump drafting I got Austin Cindric hit me the wrong way and it just sent me. He didn't mean to do it, but at the same time, you got to know when to hit and when you can't. And that was one of the positions that I was in. With the guys checking up in front of me, I had to check up a little bit, and then I got hit, 5 mile an hour faster than I was going, and it just sent me out of control. So, so that was frustrating, but like I said, that's just part of it.
So what you're saying is you don't want me to swing on down and give him a South Boston whooping. You want me to leave him? You want me to leave him alone?
It's Daytona, Chris. No offense, but it's Daytona.
Yeah, but we're talking about friend and family here, and
he's gonna get wrecked again. No offense, Jeb. You know it's gonna happen.
I know it's gonna happen, but still,
you can't beat up everybody.
They can't be touching my boys like that, Ellen.
These guys are getting better every day. Go ahead.
If it would have been any other racetrack, and I would have had that got done to me, it would have been a little different scenario.
Yeah.
After the. But me and Austin are friends, and I knew he truly didn't mean to do it. Yeah. So we're all good.
Good. Yeah, and one of the things that we wanted to talk about is now obviously the vehicle that you were in that race. Talk to me a little bit about some of the safety precautions that are taken. Talk a little bit about the halo. Tell me about how safe those vehicles actually are.
Yeah, I mean they're pretty safe. I wear a Hans device, and just like a bunch of drivers, we wear the Hans device, and that allows our neck not to move but so far forward on an impact. And then the seats have came a long way, and then also the seat belts. And we're pretty strapped in there pretty good, but some of the things that you can't help is your head. When you hit the seat, your brain's still moving inside your skull. You can still get concussions and things like that. And I think that's one of the things that obviously knocked Ryan out. Our bodies can only take such an impact against the wall, and they are softer walls, but the wall is still concrete. It just moves a little bit. It has a little give, so it helps with some of the G's on the impact. So NASCAR is doing a really good job trying to, figure out ways to make the car safer, and come up with more safety features that we have inside these cars. But for the most part, they're really safe, and we take for granted what we do every week, because you don't see many people getting hurt anymore. But after. Like I said, it's only so much safety stuff you can do when you're going 200 miles an hour, and sometimes people are still going to get hurt.
Yeah. Now, obviously, you've driven, pretty much all levels of the NASCAR races, trucks, the cars, everything. Are those safety measures and those precautions, are they the same level at each one of those levels?
They are, for trucks and Xfinity and Cup, we all have pretty much the same safety features. So NASCAR really makes sure, our belts and seats and helmets and all that kind of stuff are up to date. So they keep an eye on that stuff, and they check it every weekend. So it's really no excuse for anything silly to happen to someone if they've taken the right precautions.
Yeah. Now, you came up the racing ladder behind your dad, and for those who don't know, because let's face it, not everybody listening, we have some younger audience, probably even knows who Ward Burton is, because that's how old we are. And I do, because I watched Ward race. So do you feel that the safety has improved quite a bit since your dad raced? Do you all talk about some of the accidents that you've been in versus the ones that he was in, and how he was able to manage to survive some of the crashes that he was in versus what you've been through these days?
For sure, things are a lot different. The seats are way different. The Hans wasn't around then. The helmets are better. The things inside the race cars, the walls, everything is different and safer now. But, Dad's told me many a times that he's had impacts and been dizzy for a week and not been right. We take precautions now. After every incident, we have to go through a concussion protocol, and back then they didn't really do that kind of stuff. So we have things in place now. When we have an impact, we have to do different tests and stuff like that. And if our head's banged up a little bit, they'll know it, because we'll be off on our baseline test. So those are some of the things now that we do compared to when he raced that they didn't do.
Yeah, I don't think they had many safety precautions at all.
No, not in this car.
I actually remember Ward and I did a fishing show at the Greensboro Coliseum. This is back in, the mid-'90s, early '90s. And he was there with one of the bass boat manufacturers. And I think it was 2 weeks after he had a wreck. And I remember him having to leave a few times because he was still having headaches from it. And even back then, I was thinking, my God, why aren't they doing something, better for these guys?
Well, it takes someone developing, I feel like, a lot of the equipment that is needed. You see the same thing in a lot of other sports, and there's not always the equipment available to do anything.
Right.
Look at the way football was back in the 80s versus the way it is today.
Yeah.
The helmets back then, they were practically nothing.
Yeah. Now, Ward, speaking of, is there anything that maybe, or Jeb, speaking of, is there anything that Ward had?
Ward.
Yeah. Is there anything Ward had back then that he's mentioned to you that he'd be like, man, I wish we still had that today?
Well, this isn't a safety feature. He just wishes the cars were a little different, just because now it's so technology driven. You know, the big teams are the only ones that can compete. I mean, Dad show up in a old bread truck with a small team and be able to go win Xfinity race. So those days are long gone. And you even see it in short track racing. If you don't have the right equipment, you're not gonna just drive up through there and make it happen. So those are some of the things that he wishes were different.
Yeah, I've heard from many people the R&D. I mean, obviously, you're with a fantastic motor team. You've been with fantastic motor teams. How different is that research and development from team to team?
It's tremendous. I mean, I'm lucky to be at Junior Motorsports. You know, they have it all comes from having good people and having the resources and the funding to have that technology. And you know, I'm lucky to be at a team that has great people and technology, and we're going to win races. So I'm lucky to have that. But I've been on the other side of the fence where I didn't have that, and like I said, you just you got to do the best you can, but you know, it's a different race. You're not going to win the race if you're with a team that doesn't have that technology. You're going to win your race. You're going to beat the guys that you're racing against. And you see it. One thing that what I have noticed is the Cup Series now with this new rules package, it's kind of even the playing field out a little bit. You see the smaller teams running better now. So I think NASCAR's done a good job with that. I mean, you see these smaller teams competing and finishing the top 15 where, you know, when I raced Cup in 2015, there was no way you could do that every week. And now, you know, these guys are doing it.
And that kind of brings up a good point. Something I've seen since I was into NASCAR back, you know, when your dad raced and when, you know, the early 90s and that kind of thing. It seems over the last maybe 10 years, things have kind of fallen off, fan base has fallen off, that kind of thing. Do you feel like that's due to the lack of competition because of the teams that have racing development or R&D versus, you know, those who don't have quite the technology that some other teams do or have the cars? Like, you know, the Cup Series is generally Hendrick, or, you know, it's the Xfinity Series. A lot of times it's still Hendrick or Junior Motorsports or those who are working with RCR. Do you feel like the competition is falling off or getting better?
You know, when I go back and I look at these 2000 races, there was, you know, for example, like Dad won New Hampshire. Well, the grandstands were packed and Dad won by straightaway. So, you know, I think one thing, technology has hurt all sports. You can watch it on your phone. Yeah. You can watch internet. You can do however you want to do it and keep up with everything. And I think that's one thing that hurt all sports. And then I think NASCAR's done a really good job making things different and creating ideas to get young fans back in the sport and going to short tracks. And the tracks are doing a good job creating ways to get people back to the track. So I think NASCAR is in a really good spot right now. You see the TV ratings going back up. You know, Daytona 500 was sold out. There's a lot of people in Vegas last week. I think the sport's kind of back on a rise right now, to be honest, and it's exciting to see.
Speaking of, you have such a fantastic upbringing, such a fantastic family. What was it like watching as a kid, seeing your family members go around the track, not only seeing the victories and the successes, but the challenges, and then what made you say, I want to grow into that?
Well, you know, I was really lucky to still have the family that I do today. But, you know, for me growing up around the sport, you know, I kind of knew the ins and outs of it. And, you know, I remember the first time me and Dad went to the late model track. You know, he told me right then, he said, you either got it or you don't. And if you don't, then, you know, this is something that you just aren't going to be able to do. So Dad got in the car and ran, and then I got in the car and ran. I was only 2/10 off of him my first time being in a car, and he knew right then that I could do it. And then that's when we proceeded to start going after it. And, you know, it's just something that came natural to me, and I was fast right from the get-go. And and it was something that I enjoyed, and I've always been really competitive, even from a very young age, playing soccer to football to baseball, basketball. I always was playing sports, and it's just the racing side was what I grew up around, and was pretty good at, and tried to make it a career. And it's been a tough road to get to the point that I am now, but things are on the upside for us, and we got some good momentum, good partners behind me, and I feel like in the next couple of years we've got some great things to come.
Oh, you absolutely have some great things to come, and you've had great things. What are some of the biggest lessons you've learned coming up, not only from that upbringing, but the challenges you face yourself?
So I think for me, it's just what's so different from when Dad raced was the sponsorship side of it. It's been really tough. I've got some people helping me, but 90%, 95% of everything that I do, I'm doing myself and making happen and creating opportunities and business-to-business opportunities for my partners, and trying to put it all together and make it happen. And State Water Heater's been with me for over 10 years now, supporting me, and they supported Dad in his final couple races and year, and it's been a good relationship with them. And I just got a deal done with LS Tractors last year, and that's grown for this year. And then also Alsco, they've came in and been a great partner too. So I've got some other great partners that we're working with and growing as well. So things have been tough, but it's taken me a while to get to this point, but now we're in a rebuilding stage, and we're at a great race team at Junior Motorsports, and we're there to go win races and kind of get my career back on track.
As a driver, do you feel like you have a voice when it comes to NASCAR management, changing things, improving things?
If I see something that I thought that needs to be changed, yes, I could bring that up. But I haven't really, with the safety side or anything else, I haven't really been racing full time, so I haven't really been in that circle, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But if you did have concerns, do you feel like they would be, be attentive to him? Yeah, and you could trust them?
I think so. If I saw something that was a safety issue or something like that, yes, for sure. I've got relationships with everybody at NASCAR, and they definitely would listen and explain things why we do this and why we don't do that, for sure.
And the one thing, Ellen, I will mention about the sponsorship side of the house,
mm-hmm.
Jeb does work hard at it.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a great salesman, too. I mean, if he's got somebody who's helping him out, he knows how to lay the lines down, do the PR shtick. He is great at that stuff, and he will pop his sponsors. And I mean, he's fantastic at it. As a matter of fact, in Daytona, I felt bad because I think I made you late for a sponsor event, didn't I? Was that with LS?
No, I made it right on time. I was all good.
Yes. Chris knows to make everybody late for everything. I think it's really cool too that even though you don't race full time, you still kind of know what's going on, in the whole entire, or in the sport as a whole. And you grew up, when NASCAR was at its, what I call its heyday. And I do see some improvements going on this year, but I do still feel like there's a lot of work to be done, because I still don't see, I don't see the competition I used to see back in the, 90s and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So what are some of your thoughts on how that can change, how things can come back to the way they were? Not exactly to the way they were, but not watching everybody just go around 300 miles with a leader leading the first two stages, and then the racing really not coming in until the last 20 laps.
Yeah, and trying to break the snake within the last 30 minutes.
Yeah, because, to me, that's when I start watching. I don't start watching before then.
Yeah, so I think with this rules package they have now in the Cup Series, I've never seen restarts and stuff like that in my life at mile and a half. They're so bunched up.
Mm-hmm.
They're 4 wide for 3 laps.
Mm-hmm.
It's insane now. So if they keep doing what they're doing, I think the racing's getting to where it's really good now, and probably the best I've ever seen now for the Cup Series. So I think they're doing a good job on that.
You know what? We talked a little bit earlier about safety, and I wanted to ask you this, but we kind of got off on a different track, which is what I'm famous for.
Yeah.
Did you see Ryan's wreck at the 500?
Oh yeah. I wasn't there in person for it, but I saw it, and I knew right then. I thought he was in serious trouble. When I wasn't worried about the first impact, wasn't good. I knew that hurt, but the second impact, I looked at right where the other car hit him, and I didn't think he was going to be able to make it. To be honest, I mean, I was praying for him, but it did not look good to me. And me and Ryan are friends, and it definitely wasn't pretty. So I'm really, really thankful that the good Lord was looking after him.
Was that the first thing that went through your mind as a driver? Was I don't know if he's going to make it? Because as a viewer, as a fan, I see something like that. I've never been in anything like that. To me, it was like, oh dear Lord. But is there a different level that you have seeing something like that since you've been in situations like that?
Yeah, I think a lot of people see it, and they're like, man, that's crazy. But the way I see it is I'm thinking about looking through Ryan's eyes, what he's seeing out the windshield. And I know what those impacts feel like, and they're not. I hit very similar to Ryan, his first impact. I knew what that felt like, and I was just praying that I didn't get hit again. And I didn't, luckily. But that second impact, first when it flipped him like that, I mean, those G's to do that were, it was a pretty big impact. And then the window net side sliding, and then a car come in wide open and hit you in that spot. That's the most vulnerable spot. If it would have been on the other side, it wouldn't have been good, but I'd have liked it a lot more for him. I just didn't like that the other car hit right into the window net with the thing flipped over. So, I thought the car came in there with him. That's what kind of went through my head, and I was praying that it didn't, but it just didn't look good.
Lord.
And something that I'm kind of curious about is there was, and I've watched the YouTube video so many times it's ridiculous. Something I noticed right before his crash was Chase Elliott was spun out, and they didn't throw right before it, and they didn't throw the caution flag. Do you feel that when that kind of thing happens, even if it's on the last lap, they should throw the caution flag? Because obviously they didn't, because it was the last lap.
Yeah,
they don't
they
want
were
to
trying
end
to
under
push
caution.
forward. They had the restarts. Yeah.
So is that something that should change, or should they have left it the way it was?
Where did Chase spin at? I don't remember.
It was on coming to the start finish, right before Ryan was going to cross the start finish, and he got spun. He got hit. Chase got spun behind him.
Okay, so at that point, so this is the way they do that rule. Like this past weekend, they were spinning at the finish line, coming to the white flag. And those cars were spun out on the front straightaway. So if they didn't throw the caution and they were still sitting there, well, the cars would come back around, and then they'd be sitting there, and then that'd be very dangerous.
Yeah.
But in this case, Chase and them were spun out back there, and they could see obviously it wasn't a serious issue, and the cars wasn't going to come back around to that spot to hurt them. And Chase was still probably moving, so they just let them race back. So that's the way they kind of dictate that stuff.
Yeah, so probably because it was the final lap. Yeah, like
it was.
said,
and it was the final straightaway. So.
Now, after that, and after seeing that, going through that, and then, we hear no information, which I totally understand. Media was removed from the pits, after the race, or after the wreck, and. But finding out a couple of days later that he walks out of the hospital with his kids, what was the first thing that ran through your head?
I was just really happy. That was the main thing. For me, I I thought he was going to be in serious trouble, and I was just so glad to see that he was going to be okay.
And then, because I know it is such a close-knit family between the drivers and such a good family atmosphere, but you're also all still professionals. Did you instantly think, okay, maybe we should take a look at just once over everything as far as our vehicles go to make sure we could walk away?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I just every time before I race, I like to make sure my belts and all that stuff are like they need to be, and headrest and stuff like that. And I think NASCAR is working really hard to add bars and maybe some more things like that. So to make the roll cage stronger, and at the end of the day, it did its job.
Absolutely.
It protected, but it's a crazy impact, man. So it just hopefully we don't have any more like that.
Yeah, amen to that one. Well, I know after Saturday you got a chance to roll back up to South Boston. I'm still banned from going home. I still got that problem with that missing El Camino from '92 at the high school. So I'm hoping one day to get back up there.
Was Jeff even alive when that happened?
Probably not. But
did the board have to bail you out?
No, but actually, you know who did? No, I'm not going to tell that story about Jeff showing up with the hat. Yeah, no. Yeah, he actually laid the concrete on my driveway, which is pretty funny. So I know that when you do go back home, you're not just sitting down. You're not just focused on everything racing. You got a lot of outdoor stuff going on too, right?
Yeah, for sure. So Crossroads with the Burton, we got that going on social media, and then also on the Sportsman channel that comes on Q3 and Q4 of this year on the Sportsman channel. And then we're doing the social stuff every day. And then also we just kicked off a new YouTube series with Crossroads with the Burton, so he can subscribe to that. And we doing cooking videos.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. So for the listeners at Behind the Wheel on Racing Junk that don't know, tell us a little bit about what Crossroads with the Burtons is and how you got into it.
So I've always been in outdoors with my dad, and he kind of introduced me to that. And it's just we've got hunting, we got behind the scenes at the racetrack, we've got cooking videos, we've got conservation stuff, we got things on what's going on with Dad's Foundation. I mean, there's a total 360 lifestyle thing going on with Crossroads with the Burton. So it's been fun, and it's growing, and we got some great partners that are supporting it.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it come on the Sportsman channel. I mean, that's going to be fantastic. And I saw on social media, what was it, Monday or Tuesday, you were out hunting something. What were you hunting?
I wasn't hunting this week. I wasn't hunting this week. It might have been an old post that you saw, but I hadn't been doing.
Y'all camoed up with some type of call. I was like, it just passed through so fast. I was like, what the hell is y'all doing out there?
Yeah. So that was from duck season. Yeah, that was from duck season. Yep.
So you're running the Xfinity Series. You're with Junior Motorsports, obviously not full time. But what are your hopes and dreams for your future in racing? And do you see yourself trying to get up to the Cup Series? And once you're there, do you think you want to race full time, or is this something where you just want to race part time and focus on other things as well?
Well, I definitely want to be full-time. The only reason I'm not right now is just because of funding. That's what it all comes to. It's more sponsors. So definitely want to be full-time, but we're working hard on it. And, my plans this year is to keep growing my partners and to win some races at Junior Motorsports. I've only ran 8 races for JRM so far last year, and they won this year. So we've been close to winning in those 8. We got 10 more shots. I think we'll win a couple races before it's over with.
Oh, I think so. Yeah,
and where is your next race?
My next race with Junior Motorsports is at Texas.
Okay.
Oh, we'll be down there for that. Yeah.
Oh, well,
yeah.
you'll be down there. I won't be there.
I'll be down there. Yeah.
He just puts
Jeb,
me as a we. I don't know why.
I always just think whenever I turn around, Ellen's going to be there. Well, Jeb, dude, we are so proud of you.
Yes.
I mean, I can't tell you how proud we are. I know the family's proud of you. I'm excited about the Crossroads with the Burton session and the shows that you guys have coming up. And you say that's going to be on the Sportsman's Channel, Q3, Q4. Where can we find more information about that?
Just keeping up with our social feed on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook with Crossroads, and we'll be keeping everybody in the loop on the TV stuff. And then, like I said, we just launched the YouTube series Crossroads with the Burtons, and we just posted a really good recipe last night. It's peanut butter pie, and it'll take you 10 minutes to make it. It's very simple, so I think everybody will enjoy that.
Now, when you say
this is peanut butter, I want it.
I mean, but when he says we,
I'm gonna eat it.
No. As far as we posted, you know who came up with that recipe?
Probably Ward.
No, it was
Or his
probably
wife.
it was his wife.
I was gonna say a woman because we all love peanut butter.
Was that her recipe?
Oh, it is, and if you watch it, it only takes 5 minutes to make. I mean, a toddler can make this recipe, and it's really good. So I think you'll
because I want one. I want one.
really eat.
All right, so so give me all the social media handles, because I love your Twitter, I love your Instagram. Give me all of them. How can we get a hold of you? And more importantly, if we got people who'd like to contact you about sponsorships, how do they get a hold of you?
Yeah, I would say, my website, there's some information on how to kind of get a hold of us on there. And then if not, my racing platforms are Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook is just Jeb Burton Racing for all of those. And then Crossroads is just Crossroads with the Burtons on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, and YouTube. So those are all our platforms. And if you want to get a hold of me, those are some ways that you can, and keeping up with everything we're doing at the same time.
Yep, and of course, be sure to check out JebBurton.com. So, Jeb, brother, I tell you, man, we can't thank you enough for joining us. So I know you got all that stuff going on. What's next?
Well, we're just I'm working hard to get more partnerships for Crossroads and the racing side of things for 2021. I'm working on 2021 now, and we're working hard so we can be on the racetrack more, and it's an everyday thing, and we're working on it.
Yeah, he is working hard, that's for sure. I mean, you should have seen him down at Daytona. He was running. He texted me a picture of his calendar. I was like, I'd have to choke somebody if I had that.
Right? Exhaustion.
Well, Jeb, we're proud of you. Tell Ward we are sorry that we missed him. But, brother, we can't wait to see what's going to happen for you next. We're proud of you. I know you got great things coming, and it's going to be an exciting time for you. And we appreciate you joining us here on Behind the Wheel.
Yes, sir. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you for having me, and anytime.
Cool, buddy. All right, so we'll cap that right there, brother. And thank you once again for doing that and joining us.
Yes, we appreciate it.
And I talked to Gracie last night. She wanted your cell phone number. I know she's in meetings. Gracie's our social media.
I was like, are you just giving random girls his phone number?
I am. Well, actually, I wrote it. I wrote it on the bathroom wall, and I was like, for a good time, call and then hang up.
There you go.
I don't think his wife's gonna like that.
But no, she wanted your cell phone number, so I passed it off to her. And I know she's in meetings all day today, but she had mentioned she was going to try to reach out to you either Friday or Monday. So if you get a call from an Illinois number, that'll probably be her.
Okay, sounds good, man. Well, I appreciate you connecting us, and I'll let you know what happens.
Well, yeah, I mean, she's interested to talk to you and try to get something set up before Q3, Q4 kicks in. So, I mean, we do move kind of slow. But the fact that, she's at least trying to reach out, that'll be, that'll at least get the ball rolling. And I'll be excited to see what happens, man.
Okay. Well, perfect, man. Well, I appreciate it, buddy. And I might be running a truck race in Atlanta. So are you going to be there?
Actually, yeah. That's in the week of the March 14th.
Yep. So I'll probably see you there.
Okay. Yeah, shoot. Yeah, we'll be there. I'll be there with the gander truck. So, I'll grab you and we'll get some photos done, man.
All right, buddy. Sounds good.
All right, brother. Be safe. Tell everybody I say hey.
Thanks, Jeb.
All right. See you.
I'll see you. Bye-bye. I am so proud of that guy right there.
Sorry.
I can't help but laugh when I see you grab that microphone, Ella. I am glad this is not
I was trying to say something, but
you can't. You just can't. And no, I did not do that on purpose.
Me crazy.
I did not do that on purpose.
Jeb was a great interview, and I'm so grateful that he was willing to talk about some of the safety issues and how they have improved with NASCAR over the last few years, because that's what everybody's talking about right now. And it's so amazing to know that he's running with Junior Motorsports right now, because, Junior is the name that everybody tossed around after the Daytona 500.
Oh, yeah.
So it's great to talk to a Junior Motorsports driver about that. And it's great to see what he's doing, because I've always been a fan of the Burton brothers. So I love to see that their kids are coming up and doing similar things that they did.
Yeah. It was funny. I didn't even mention it to him, but I saw Harrison in Daytona as well. And, so it was good seeing him. But to see what he's done, what they've been able to accomplish, I'm really proud of my family right there. So,
do you normally call them your family when you're not proud of them?
I mean, well,
or do you just need something to make yourself look good?
Yeah. I just say yeah to both.
Pretty much. And they're going to listen to that and go, well, damn.
But no, in all honesty, he is doing the right thing. And he's saying the right things, and he's working hard. I mean, most people his age aren't doing that type of hard work, and I'm just really proud of everything that they're doing. He's got a great show coming up too with Crossroads with the Burtons and the outdoor stuff. I'm glad he's tying that in, because he harvests his own when he hunts, and it's not about just going out and killing. It's about conservation. It's about the animal. It's about the respect, and more importantly, it's about the actual game of the hunt.
Right.
And when you got somebody who's competitive as he is, competitive as his family is, that's a fantastic aspect that I can't wait to see when they get that stuff out there.
I was gonna say, considering that their family's already competitive on the track, how competitive are they out there in the woods?
Oh, it's crazy.
And do they literally chase each other?
It's probably. I mean, I've only been on the farm in some of their land a few times, because we all have different spots where we would go. And it's funny, one of my friends, Jamie Connor, and that's who I used to go hunting with back when I was a kid, and then Jamie Waite, we would always just go out in the woods behind my house, or we'd go over to Jamie's grandfather's place. But everybody's got land out there. Everybody's got a plot. Everybody's got stands. Everybody's got the whole nine. And I can't wait to see it, because I lived it and I want to see it from their side. So Jeb, thank you so much for joining us, buddy. I hope you guys had fun talking to us. Good luck. I look forward to seeing him down in Atlanta in a couple of weeks when we go down there for the truck race and for the Xfinity race. So that'll be fun. But it was just good to hear the NASCAR side. And he's doing a good job with the PR too. They glossed him up a little bit.
They did, but he's not over glossed like I'm seeing a lot of these NASCAR drivers. No offense.
I still get the real from Jeb.
Yeah, at least you still. he sounds legitimate and real, where some of these guys don't. Sorry,
well, yeah.
Just not anymore.
And, I mean, and if he was a spokesperson for your product, he'd be fantastic.
Yes.
He's got it. He's got the polish right there.
He does.
But yeah, some of the guys I talked to down in Daytona, I was like, get your smoke away from me.
Don't blow smoke up my face.
Yeah, it's like, what? I did not get that from the truck drivers, which was nice.
Yeah.
They were real. Speaking of them, you know what? We might have some of them on coming up, future episodes, which leads me to my next point. Who would you like for us to have on Behind the Wheel?
We want your suggestions. I mean, me and Chris have been kind of winging this as we go, and we really want some of our fans' suggestions. So be sure to, list on the comments below somebody you'd like to see on the show. We don't have to necessarily know who they are.
Yeah.
We could definitely find out how to get in touch with them. If it's not a driver, somebody's involved in the sport, somebody who's involved in the automotive realm, somebody you just think is fantastic and you want to hear their story, please let us know.
Yeah, or if you work in a shop and you're like, man, let me tell you how to do some of this stuff.
Yeah.
We want to hear it because that all happens behind the wheel.
Exactly.
And that's what we want. So it doesn't have to be just NASCAR. Off-road, dirt, drag, whatever. We love hearing about it. So please like and subscribe. Share the link in the podcast. We'd love to hear your comments. Leave some down below and let us know who you want us to have on.
Yes.
Or you can email Ellen directly or call her. Her phone number is on most public bathroom walls. So
I was going to say, Chris, you're going to hand out my phone number in the world. Thanks.
Nope, not going to happen. Mine,
I don't answer calls. I don't know the number.
That's me. I don't answer anything.
No.
But thank you so much for joining us this week on Behind the Wheel on RacingJunk.com. We can't wait to see you for the next show. So please like, subscribe, give us a comment, and we will see you next time right here on Behind the Wheel on RacingJunk.com.